Salisbury Plain stretched out beneath a slate-grey sky, the sun obscured by clouds that promised yet more rain after a week of wet days. It was just after dawn, and Jan Lewandowski had brought his dog to the plain for a walk while it was dry. There had been no other cars in the lay-by where dog-walkers often parked, and there was no one visible as far as he could see. The wide open space was desolate, the emptiness interrupted by the occasional beech and stand of fir and clumps of sawwort, ox-eye daisy and milkwort. Lewandowski's dog was Coco, an enterprising 2-year-old spaniel who needed a lot of exercise to prevent her causing disruption at home. Lewandowski wrestled the tennis ball from her mouth and fitted it into the plastic launcher. He drew back his arm and fired the launcher out, sending the tennis ball arcing high through the air. It bounced once and then a second time against the damp ground and rolled to a stop beneath the branches of a hawthorn bush. Coco bounded after it, her tail wagging with unbridled enthusiasm. She reached it and then stood there, stock still, ignoring it. She cocked her head as if taking a sniff of the air and then launched ahead, leaving the ball behind her. "Coco!" The dog sprinted to the north, ducking beneath the slats of a post and rail fence and continuing into the field beyond. There was a flagpole next to the gate in the fence that allowed access to the field, and a red pennant flapped from the top. Salisbury Plain was owned by the Ministry of Defence and was used by the Army for training. The red flag denoted that live fire exercises were possible. "Coco!" Lewandowski yelled. "Get back here!" The dog ignored him, hurrying across the field until she disappeared into a depression. Lewandowski cursed, jogged over to the fence, and clambered over it. The ground had been churned up by tank tracks, and he had to hop over deep troughs that were filled with muddy water. He scanned the landscape, looking for any sign that might indicate that an exercise was taking place. There was none, but even so, he had served in the Polish army before he moved here and remembered his old corporal warning new recruits to be cautious in places like this. It wasn't impossible for rounds to land without detonating. He took the dog's lead from his pocket and hurried across the field. "Come here, Coco!" The dog showed no interest in heeding his call. Her attention was clearly fixated on something else, and as Lewandowski watched, she dipped her head and picked it up. Lewandowski reached the dog. "What are you doing?" he said, reaching down to clip the lead to her collar. "What have you found, girl?" There was a long, white bone in Coco's mouth. Lewandowski guessed that it was 40 or 50 centimetres long, with a cylindrical head at one end and a smooth, shallow trough at the other. He tried to take it from her, but she growled and tugged to keep it. "Drop it, Coco! Put it down!" The dog laid the bone down, locked it in place with her paws, and started to gnaw at it.